Welcome to Potty Mouths. I am Stephanie, and I'm here with my pookie bitch, Bert.
What's up?
Oh my god.
Hey, we're talking Halloween. I'm thinking Scream.
And one of my besties, Brad.
Boo.
And today is the Halloween episode, where we're going to talk about mainly our favorite things about Halloween, starting from back when we were kids. This isn't going to be a spooky episode. It's going to be a joyful, reminiscent childhood episode about Halloween.
Wah, wah, wah.
Not everything has to be fucking scary, Bert.
With you it is.
Well, yes, but also, too, I enjoy my childhood. My childhood wasn't very spooky. Yours fucking was.
I was going to tell you guys, Halloween's on the 31st, November 1st. This woman will be decorating for Christmas.
I would just like to point out to everyone that I'm lazy as fuck these days. I will not be.
All right, November 2nd.
Oh, also, those that wonder, since Bert's putting me down for my decorating shit, my Halloween decorations went up Labor Day weekend.
Thank you for proving my point.
Suck that.
Thank you for proving my point.
Yeah. I had my Halloween costume picked out fucking months ago, and then I changed it. Anyway.
Twice.
So, we're going to be talking about all of our favorite things. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say, like, right off before they fucking have a dementia moment and forget it?
I've got nothing.
The candy in the orange and black wrappers is disgusting.
The candy in the orange and black wrappers is delicious!
It's disgusting.
Yes, it is disgusting.
Candy
It's
corn.
disgusting.
Candy corn is delicious, but them little...
I'll give on candy corn, but the cheap candy for the people who can't buy real candy and the orange and black wrappers is disgusting. That's one of the things I hate about Halloween. Because you always get some of those.
Always.
Always.
I'm just joking. Candy corn, those little candy pumpkins, it's all fucking gross. But the black and orange wrappered little peanut butter things are delicious.
No way.
It takes an hour to chew and they get stuck all the hell in your teeth, but it's worth it. It's totally worth it.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
Anyway. So, besides candy, we're talking about the whole month of October here. I know it's honored on October 31st for the most part. But what's like your favorite, like, you start getting those October vibes. Summer's officially fucking over. What are we looking forward to in the month of October?
Well, we haven't done it yet this year. I don't know we're going to because you did it earlier when you went costume shopping. But I just walking into the department store and just seeing the selection of costumes. That's just always cool to me to see what's cool this year. Is it spooky clowns? Is it superheroes? I mean, seeing what the jive is, all these people are looking at.
Hit up every Spirit of Halloween, Halloween Express, and Party City within 30 miles of my house in the whole month of October.
Yeah, those are great stores.
It's addicting. I can't fucking stop.
But the prices, oh my God. We looked at a costume for our youngest. It was $60.
It was worth it, though.
No!
But we're not willing to spend $60 on a 5-year-old's costume.
Cool.
What type of costume was it?
It was fucking... It was the Mario part of it. It was a Mario costume, but he was riding an
Yoshi.
inflatable
Oh,
Yoshi.
really?
Tell
Wow.
me that's not fucking worth $60.
That might be worth 60.
Exactly.
But there were other costumes, too, that were not as elaborate, and they had the same sticker price. And I was just like, that's just
he decided
too
to go with
much.
Foxy from Five Nights at Freddy's, which was nice, and it was only a $25 costume. But still, a Mario costume riding an inflatable Yoshi is worth $60.
That does sound pretty awesome.
Or we can buy Yoshi's Island and play it on one of our gaming systems for $39. And that's forever.
That's a valid point as well. That's why I hate buying costumes every year. It's like you wear them once and you could have bought something better, like a video game.
What happens with me every fucking year is I get delusions of grandeur where I'm going to start making my costume in like June and I'm going to hammer
Or
it
earlier,
out.
like this year, you're talking January. January, you were like, I got a great Halloween idea.
I can't help that. That is beyond my fucking control.
Do you remember the Halloween costume idea? Do you write it down, or do you just, like, this is what I'm going to do? And
She uses Pinterest for that.
Okay.
Pinterest is
It's
her
in my
note taker.
Pinterest.
So
That is my note taker. If you see like huge clumps of the same shit, that's like a different costume idea. So at the beginning of the year, I started thinking about this like Calypso costume, and I started making all the pieces out of Model Magic and shit. But my problem is I am like fucking ADD as hell. The second it's hard for me to find a piece to a costume, I switch gears, and then I end up buying a store-bought one. So I went from this, like, huge underwater calypso dark sea witch costume. Half of it's done. I couldn't find an appropriate toga in the color I wanted for the costume, so then I went to Spirit of Halloween and bought a fox costume. Done. I can't help it. I can't help the second I hit a roadblock. I'm like, fuck this. I'm too old to deal with problems. I'm going to throw some money at it and do a different costume.
But I really appreciate the people who do make their own costumes and don't give up. And
it'll eventually get made.
Now, I've seen some really cool ones. I mean, even if it's not for Halloween, like we just went to Renaissance Festival last weekend.
Yeah.
Pictures were posted if y'all didn't see it. But I just saw some
people
amazingly cool costumes. People were like warriors from like ancient Rome, like Roman soldiers, medieval like dragon fighters. I mean, there's
the greatest
cool
thing
ones.
was, and Brad, you'll 100% appreciate this. There was a couple of fucking Jedi
What?
at the Barbarian Invasion at the Renaissance Festival.
That feels like it would kind of ruin the vibe.
No,
of
so
medieval.
listen, it's
I
become,
felt it did.
No,
I felt
listen,
it did.
It's become more of like, when we first started going to the Renaissance Festival, it was all about Renaissance. But now they're like adding these themed weekends in, like the Barbarian Invasion.
Well, see,
and
I
all
get the
Celtic
barbarians,
stuff.
I get the pirates, all that makes sense. But I saw Jedi, I saw steampunk.
Harry Potter's
I
making
saw
its
Harry
fucking
Potter,
way.
which Harry Potter kind of fits in the idea.
Yeah.
But Jedi and steampunk, let's create a new festival for those folks.
Did the Jedi have the lightsaber, or was he just in Jedi robe?
Jedi robe.
Robes. It was a guy. and a
Several
girl.
of them. Well, I saw like 4 or
Oh,
5
I saw-
of them when I waited an hour and 15 minutes for your turkey leg.
How was the turkey leg?
Mediocre at best.
I've never been to Renaissance Festival. I heard those turkey legs are pretty amazing.
I mean, look, they kept running out of them.
Yeah.
So they were on the quick fucking cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're tasty, but they're not as easy to eat as it would be like a chicken leg or
No.
something.
I was like knuckle fucking deep in this thing digging for me. It was ridiculous to fucking eat. And all these people are eating them like a bunch of fucking barbarians. I couldn't get my mouth around the goddamn thing.
Yeah, it was pretty good size. So
I mean,
$9 it better be. So
yeah, back to Halloween, the whole costume thing. So back in the day, because obviously, we looked up the history on this. Every country has their own like traditions, and Halloween is mainly Irish. Halloween is more Irish than fucking St. Patrick's Day is.
Western Christian.
But they used to dress up because they believed that, kind of like the Day of the Dead, Halloween was when like the dead could walk among us. And so they did it as like to disguise themselves, to keep ghosts and evil spirits from like targeting them. So if everybody blended in, they didn't know who the real people were. America takes their tradition of dressing up in costume from the German American tradition, where all the kids would dress up and go door to door. And the kid that nobody could recognize, because the whole thing was to where your neighbors couldn't recognize you, the kid that had the best costume that nobody could recognize was the one that got the treat. So that's where America gets there. All of our traditions are Irish, but the wearing the costume things we get it from the German Americans.
So the two strongest origins of my family is where we get Halloween from. German and Irish. That's pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
That is cool. So I remember I watched a special on History Channel, a documentary of some sort, and it was talking about the history of Halloween. And like in like the 20s and 30s and 40s, there were people who actually feared Halloween, not because it was scary, but some of these kids, the stuff they would do, they were absolute tricksters. There was arsons going on. They were freaking beating people up. I mean,
it almost died out in the 20s and the 30s. Halloween was almost fucking done.
Yeah, because the pranks were like terrible.
That was the creation of Devil's Night. And it's our own fucking fault. Now, I'm a public service fucking announcement. If your teenager wants to trick or treat, let them trick-or-treat. In some states, it's illegal for kids to trick-or-treat after the age of 12.
Yep, that's in Virginia. Virginia just passed that law.
That's fucking bullshit. If a 16-year-old wants to dress up, I would rather them do that than light shit on fire and poop bags on people's front porches and eggs and TP and everybody's shit.
You're 12 years old? That's only like the 5th grade, isn't it? Or...
I mean, some kids just found out Santa ain't real when they're 12. Oh, shit. Okay, he didn't hear me.
Damn. Dad, how'd you learn about Santa? Mom on her podcast, and that's what I heard. I ain't paying that shrink bill.
Santa's awesome. But anyway, I think 12, up until the age of 18, and even then, I'm not going to lie, I still like going trick-or-treat, man.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm 35.
I think I walked around we weren't actually like trick-or-treating, but walk around just the neighborhood. Well, I guess till we were freshmen, sophomores in high school, but...
Hey, little kid, who's giving out the good candy? Oh, Mr. Miller? All right, thanks.
It's just a cool vibe, you know? Like,
it is, and you get to see, and like all the cute costumes and the cool costumes, and I mean, these people dressing up their houses and their own little private, haunted houses, and like... Grab a nephew, grab a niece, grab your kid, go trick-or-treat. It's fucking fun at any age. Yeah. And them trying to legally bind kids over the age of 12 from going trick-or-treat is bullshit to me. Absolute bullshit.
I wonder how they enforce that, though. Like, kids that age don't have IDs.
A costume walking around over a certain height.
I don't know. It's tricky because I heard about it a little bit on the radio, and the DJ I was listening to, he kind of agreed that, hey, once you're about 14, you're probably too old. But he's like, he thought 12 was excessive. He goes, but 14, let the little kids have it. It should be the little kids' fun. But to Brad's point, how they enforce it, I mean, they're judging specifically by how old you look. And in a costume, that's going to be very difficult.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, they probably would have shut me down in the 3rd grade.
Yeah, no kidding. So one year... I was 12. It was the Halloween I was 12. I had this Cleopatra costume on. And at that point, up until that point, I was just a kid, thinking kid thoughts, not adult thoughts. But then we hit this one house, and then from that house on, all the fucking guys at every single one of these houses kept commenting on my boobs in this Cleopatra costume. I'm fucking 12.
Hashtag me too.
I've always been mistaken for being older. So, like, they thought I was a teenager, 19, 20 years old. I was getting hit on. They thought I was like a fucking 19-year-old walking around trick-or-treating. I was fucking 12.
But that had to have been weird.
I mean, yeah, especially considering the fact that in my neighborhood I already knew everyone.
Yeah.
Like, these are people that have watched me growing up. They should have known how fucking old I was. But I was in a black wig. I have blonde hair. I look like fucking Cleopatra. I had my makeup on, which back in the day I was a tomboy as hell. I normally didn't have. And I was getting hit on as a 19-year-old when I was 12. It's bullshit to judge kids on their age. I mean, 21-year-olds were trying to buy beer off me when I was 16.
No, I get it. And the reason I bring it up like that is... something happened here recently in Cincinnati, not Halloween related, but like kid age related, where a young girl was trying to steal some goodies, candy, chips, some clothes from a Kroger, and the officer used a stun gun on her.
Oh, wow.
Took her down with a taser. And city council's like, oh, no, that's ridiculous. Nobody at the age of 12 or under should be tased. And she was 11 and getting ready to turn 12. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't tell you by looking at somebody if somebody's 11 or 12. I can tell you if somebody's 10 or 20. But you're talking like a 2-year, 3-year difference. So they're trying to pass the rule now where, like, if you're younger than 10 years old, a taser should never be used, which I get. But some of these people, some of these children, you cannot tell.
And the older you get, the worse it gets. So I was at one of Brad's bonfires, and one of our friends brought these fucking kids to drink with us in the backyard. And I'm like, what are you doing bringing fucking 17, 18-year-olds to drink with us? And he's like, they're all like 24, 25. At 35, 24-year-olds look 16 to me now.
Yeah.
17 to me now. Because of what?
I don't know. I thought he fell.
Was he crying?
No, he was laughing, goofy.
Oh, God, that maniacal little shit. He is the fucking devil. I changed, my CD player changes colors, and I changed it to orange for Halloween. He says, Mom, you could have kept it at red for the devil.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, you can't tell. I mean, there's a guy I know who had a stepson, and these are all like secondhand stories, but his stepson got in trouble for being with an underage girl. And he has to go to classes now and everything else. He had to register as a sex offender. He was 19, she was 16. But like everybody looking at this was like, you would have thought she was 21. She was built like a full-fledged adult. And he goes, he understands what he did was wrong, but he didn't know either. But yeah, I mean, he's like, he knows what he did was wrong, but he didn't know how old she was. And I'm sorry, hey, I think you're a cute girl. Can I see your ID?
Yeah, for real.
I mean, what guy's going to do that? I mean, that's why they say picking up at bars became such a safe place to pick up girls or for girls to pick up guys. Because, hey, if they're at the bar, they should be at least 18, so you know they should be legal. That's scary when you can't distinguish between older teens and adults.
If a girl knows that a dude's of age and she is not, and she does not disclose that information, it's fucking on her.
Well, that's not how the rules work.
If he like asked and she lied or assumed, but she's like, "Oh, you're 19. Well, I'm 16." That's like one of the first conversations two people have when they meet each other. How old are you? Where do you go to school? I mean, that's like day one shit when you meet somebody.
I don't think 19 and 16 is too big of a gap where somebody should get in trouble over that.
But the idea was he was a year into being an adult.
Yeah.
And she was still a teen. And I don't think so either, but there are a lot of people who do see an issue there, but it's difficult to tell. So with this whole Halloween trick-or-treat thing, I mean, this girl, 16 years old, I mean, by your standards, she could still trick-or-treat, but somebody else could be like, oh my God, this is a 22-year-old. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, but she is still 16, and I'm telling you right now, the more mature these teenagers get, and we allow them to be because we're forcing them into adulthood.
The more physically mature. Physically mature.
You guys act like back in the day, ain't no fucking 12-year-old had tits.
Not like they do now.
Fuck.
Blame the milk. That's what all these other people are doing. They say the growth hormones in milk.
Yeah. Something.
Just saying. I
don't remember that in my 5th grade class.
I don't either. I remember
that in my 5th grade life.
Remember that episode of South Park?
Yeah, when Bebe, or not Bebe, what's her nuts, the blonde got boobs.
Yeah.
So listen, I've always been busty, even at a young age.
Thank you, Lord.
Bert only married me for my boobs. But anyway, so that happened to me, which whatever. It is what it is. It's genetics. I got bitch slapped by genetics, okay? So it does happen. It's not just these days. But it's also how kids present themselves.
Agree. Totally agree.
And like in these days when we're handing fucking 12-year-old cell phones and asking them to grow up and wanting to not pay attention to our kids, that's when they would rather go egg houses and have sex at fucking 14, 15, 16 on Halloween night than go trick-or-treating. I encourage my children to crave sweets and go door-to-door begging for them than to do all the other teenager shit that they could be doing.
And that segues us into our next perfect part of this topic, for me anyway. It may not be on your list. But that's like how Halloween has become, I can dress like a slut night. I mean, because adults, they still dress up. And ladies, Jesus, I mean, wow.
I do appreciate that, though.
I mean, if I was single, maybe, but I'm not. That's why I can't leave on Halloween. I have to stay home and watch the kids when Steph goes out.
Yeah, you do.
Because these girls, it's like, you know it's colder, right? And they're like, I'm like, you've got so much skin showing. Wow, put something on.
Look, my thing is, to each their own. I'm not going to slut shame some girl for her being a slut.
Well said.
But, look, if you're going to do it right. Put some fucking effort into it. I bought a fox costume. It's not slutty, and I'm going to do fox makeup. I'm not going to throw on whore red lipstick and false lashes and walk around in booty shorts and fox ears.
I remember going trick-or-treating one year. This was the older years, where this mom was taking her kids trick-or-treating, and she was a MILF, by all means, and she was pretty much wearing red lingerie with devil horns and a pitchfork. Walking her kids around. And me being of the teenage age was like, oh my God,
Those are those creepy
Wow,
couples.
I wish I was my neighbor.
Yeah.
Those are those creepy couples that talk about their sexual fetishes in front of their fucking kids.
But I mean,
It's unavoidable.
red lace lingerie, maybe some sort of mini skirt. I don't know.
If you're going to
But
dress like a
damn.
tramp, go to an adult party. Don't dress like a tramp when you take your kids trick-or-treating.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, if you wouldn't wear it in front of your kids at home, don't wear it out with them.
Well, I
Well,
guess
that's
she would wear it at home.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm pretty sure. I mean, she's like, well, that's no more than I normally wear. I mean, usually I just have pasties on.
I mean,
All natural.
people like that are unavoidable. These are also the oh man.
But wow, yeah, I've seen some creative ones too. Don't get me wrong, with adults and everything else. But it just seems like Halloween or the Saturday before or after Halloween, whenever the Halloween parties and stuff are going on, women are just like, this is my time to dress like a slut.
Look, no, I would dress up for anything. I dressed up for 80s night. If somebody's like, we're having a zombie party in July, I'm fucking dressing up. I like the makeup and the costumes and the creativity and all this other stuff. I've only had one even remotely trampy costume in my fucking 35 years on this planet. Only one. And I didn't buy it for the short dress. I bought it for the fucking knee socks. It was my referee costume. And on me, considering the fact
That's
that
on my computer, that picture.
Like, you fucking weird. It wasn't a whole lot of cleavage, and I wore fucking black pantyhose under it. I didn't wear a thong with a short dress.
I don't even
Which
think these
fucking
girls are
happens.
wearing thongs most of the time.
But, yeah, I mean, if you're
But
going to
yeah,
dress up...
It's just become slut day. And I
Be
hate to be
creative.
like that. And guys, when you all dress up, if you dress up, let's be a little bit more creative. 2013 hipster is out. Let's do some real costumes now. No more scarves or what's that Fred wears from Scooby-Doo? What's that called?
Ascots.
Ascot. Yeah, come on, guys. We're men. Men!
Well,
Dress up as
get-
something cool.
And I get, like...
Hipsters.
I like, people like going to Halloween parties, but they don't like to dress up. You can just tell, like, the level of creativity of a person by how they show up to the Halloween party. But...
The best simplistic man's costume I've seen was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Seth Green character wore a name tag that says, "Hello, my name is God." Thought it was genius. Because he went as God to this party. That's awesome.
Yeah, you can't do that these days.
Why?
Because...
Why? Tell me. I can be whatever gender I want. Why can't I be an
if
almighty
you
Lord?
show up at a party today with that, somebody is going to be religiously offended.
I wouldn't be at that party. I wouldn't.
I mean, we wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't. I mean, last
Well,
year...
their 26 genders offend me then. I mean, come on. Let's grow up, people.
You're not allowed to be offended.
That's one day of the year. If I want to have God on my name tag, should I put President Obama? Should I put President Trump? Who am I going to offend? I can offend both sides of this country the way everything
Look,
is.
you just stick to going to the Halloween parties I go to, and you'll never offend anyone ever.
We promise. You might be offended.
Yeah, you might be offended.
So you're saying when you go to the Halloween parties, I stay home and babysit?
I mean, eventually you'll get to go with me.
Why, Kurt, did I offend you?
I want to jump back to something you said. You said the people that show up with no costumes are like the least creative people.
Well, no, the ones that actually dress up. Some people don't like to do it.
Like, I never really dress up. I don't want to say I'm a creative person at all, but I don't think I'm the least creative person at these parties that we go to.
Absolutely not.
But that's how it's just kind of like, where does that make me at in this, that comment?
And then, well, I mean, the people that actually dress up, and I get, like, sometimes my costumes have been shit because, again, like, I was really into it, and then the costume fucked up, and then I just abandoned the whole concept. Like, it happens, but those that are dressed up, the store-bought black, costume kitty, versus, like, some of the awesome ones that we've seen, like, I don't know, what are some awesome ones that we've seen?
One of the best ones, the Shredder. I was going to say that.
Really
I saw that
cool.
one your old Facebook photos. That was cool. And then when I got told it was made out of pie pans and poo noodles.
Dude made that all from scratch.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That was one of the best costumes ever.
Do you still have that picture?
I do still have it.
Totally
If I find these Halloween pictures, I will post them. But, like, we had our friend that did the Shredder, and it was pie pans and foam swords.
Yeah.
Foam swords, yeah.
And
okay.
it was so good. And then who you have
I
favorite?
liked Inspector Gadget, our buddy Dave did that.
Yeah,
the stilts, that was cool.
Yeah,
he
that
walked,
was really
all
cool.
the pictures of
So
that one.
he told me that he practiced getting drunk and walking around on drywall stilts the whole week.
I bet
to
he did,
prepare
too.
for that Halloween party where he was Inspector Gadget. That was fucking dedication, and the costume ended up being great.
It was really good.
That is
And
really
then,
cool.
like, some of the girls that we hang out with didn't. I mean, it was a little, attractive costume, but they didn't go all slutty. We've had some really good Poison Ivies.
Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah.
That was pretty tasty.
But it was appropriate. And, like, one of our friends, Bill,
He always does good.
not only does he do really good costumes, but
He
he
stays
stays
in
in
character.
character.
Yeah. The whole fucking night,
The
too.
whole fucking, no matter how drunk he is, he stays in character. My
Yeah.
favorite was his Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
because of the character.
You try to bullshit with him, and he's not breaking character.
Yeah, he is not at all. But yeah, we've seen some really, really good ones. We have a friend who did a centaur one year, and it's bittersweet that it's a certain friend, but he had this giant horse ass attached to him with these wheels and stuff, and it was just a really awesome, huge costume that I would actually like to try to do someday.
Yeah.
But it's already been done. So, I mean, whatever. It would be my rendition of it.
The homemade costumes are definitely the best.
Definitely.
I've only done one, but yeah, they're cool.
Well, you did.
What'd you do?
Kiss, Gene Simmons.
Nice.
But
Nice.
Brad's Kiss. I will find the pictures of this.
I
Again.
was legit like 7'4" because we made like the high heel boots and shit, dude. It was just crazy.
So
Wow.
it was it 7'2" or 7'4"? He was 7'4".
It was well over 7 foot, so
He was a massive Gene Simmons.
yeah. It was hard to walk in these boots drinking all night.
You
Should have practiced.
I should have, yeah, I should have. I'm not
Yes.
that dedicated.
We will post the pictures from our own personal ones. For me personally, my favorite costume I've ever done as an adult, I don't know. When I did the voodoo thing that one year, my skull makeup was pretty impressive. I liked it. I thought it was pretty impressive anyway.
I haven't really dressed up as anything as an adult other than a convict one year, just because it was just an orange jumpsuit and it was quick and easy.
Yeah.
I was going to do Shaun of the Dead one year, and I had the shirt done, the tie, and all that, but I couldn't find the name tag. But I recently purchased a name tag, so I do plan on doing the Shaun of the Dead costume again, because I just think that's really cool.
Yeah, that just came in the mail a couple weeks ago.
Got my Star Trek uniform from Wrath of Khan, but that's going to be more like the convention thing
Yeah,
versus...
we're going to a Star Trek convention in December, so that's his outfit for the night.
Star Wars is better.
Star Trek. I like both, but we go to Star Trek conventions.
Well, at least the Star Trek people don't show up to the Renaissance Festival dressed up as Star Trek. So, let's go put out. They may have been there, but they were dressed appropriately. I didn't see any Vulcans. I did see elves, though, which could be the same thing. Who knows?
I mean, that's true.
I mean, right?
It's the ears.
Yeah.
The ears.
I mean, come on. Come on.
So, I tell you, one of the things Brad is hard for is bonfires.
Oh, I love them. Live for bonfires.
So, I was doing, there's a bunch of research on why bonfires became popular, but one of the main things was during their Celtic celebrations, to honor those that had passed, they would burn the bones of their, cows and everything that had died in winters to honor the dead, and it was bone fire that later became bonfire. So it was like...
That's pretty neat.
It was kind of like superstition. They didn't want the winter to be long and more animals and crops die. So when they honored that dead, it was because they knew things were going to die during the winter.
So back then, in those ancient times,
Yes, 2,000 years ago.
we could have a bonfire, cremate a couple of bodies. Well, our burial thing. we
Dead
did
and
last-
Buried episode.
Yeah, we mix it together. A little Halloween party. Hey, this isn't a wake. This is a Halloween party.
Yeah, but
Sorry about your luck, Joe, but thanks for the great fire.
That's why this was 2,000 years ago.
Well, why can't we bring that back?
I love it.
Bell bottoms are coming back from the 70s. Let's just go a little further back.
Bring back bonfires.
Bonfires.
I mean, if you guys decided to burn my bones in a giant bonfire on Halloween night. I wouldn't.
This day going forward, I am never having another bonfire.
They're all bonfires?
They're all bonfires.
Nice.
So we have to bring something dead to every one of your
Yes.
bonfires?
Every bonfire going forward.
Bonfires? All right. From here on out, Brad's having bonfires.
I love the pagans.
I mean, we can do it. Why not? I'm down. I'm not afraid of dead stuff. I'm not afraid of dead stuff until I spend a lot of money buying dead stuff and then I bring it home and my cat fucking eats it. That pisses me off.
So what she is referring to is we went to a festival in our area, and she bought a foxtail, taxidermied foxtail. And it lived in our house for about a year. And then our cat found it and decided to make a perfect chew toy.
I come home and there's bits of fucking fluff everywhere. I'm like, what is this shit? He ate my fucking foxtail.
There's the guy right there.
No? Is it that one?
No, that's...
No, this is our cat Odin, the
Oh.
dick.
The gargoyle that was sitting on your notes earlier.
I
The
like
beautiful
him.
dick.
Yes, he's a beauty.
He is a beautiful Bengal, but he is a pain in the ass. This thing was in my house forever, and then one day he's like, you know what? Fuck that.
I'm going to
eating
chew
it.
on that.
I'm eating that shit. Pissed me off so bad.
He's probably like, it's got softer fur than I do. I'm going to tear it up.
But another thing that I love besides trick-or-treating and dressing up in costume, which I would do any day of the year, carving pumpkins. It's my thing.
I like those. That's fun.
I love it. And, like, here lately I've been getting creative as shit with it. Where, like, one year we'll do, like, all graveyard stuff. And then, like, last year we did only jack-o'-lanterns. Like, traditional style jack-o'-lanterns. Of all of the folklore and the traditions and everything past about Halloween, I gotta say the story behind pumpkin carving is my favorite.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
Do tell.
There was this fucking drunk. His name...
Are they like a minority now, the drunks? I mean...
No,
She hates the drums.
I don't hate the drunk. I hate driving the drunks. Unless we're going to White Castle. But other than that...
White Castle.
Shut up. So... we're having pizza. So... This drunk guy... It was like the town drunk. His name was Stingy Jack. Now, I always thought it should have been Stingy Jack, considering how he lived his life. But his name was Stingy Jack. And he was always up to fucking mischief, like the drunks do. And I don't know what the fuck happened, what he was drinking this particular day, but I guess he took stock of what he had been doing with his life and realized that he had two options. He had to either clean up his act, or he had to find another way to not go to hell. So he decides that he's going to invite the devil out for a drink. And there's two versions of the story,
Where's
but I'm going to
Stingy
tell
Jack
my
from?
favorite. Ireland.
So instead of the devil went down to Georgia, the devil went down to Ireland.
Right.
Looking for a
Which
soul
there's
still.
only two types of people I can think of that would drink with the devil. It's the Irish and Russians.
Stereotyping much?
I mean, just a little. Just every time I think about drinking with the devil, I think of Bert Kreischer and the Machine. So that's where I get the Russians from. But he invites the devil out for the drink, but he can't pay the bill. So he convinced the devil to turn himself into a coin to pay for their drinks. Well, when the devil turns himself into a coin, he pockets the coin. And he's essentially holding Satan hostage. And he's like, look, I'll let you go. I'll let you become Satan again, but you have to promise me that no matter what I do in my life, I'll never get sent to hell. So the devil agrees, and the devil becomes the devil again, and he goes on his way, and Stingy Jack goes on and does his drunken fucking bullshit. So the day comes, and he dies, and he tries to go to heaven. And heaven's like, no. We saw what the fuck you did. We saw what the hell you did with the devil. What makes you think you can get into heaven? So he was cast away from heaven. So then he turns tail like a bitch and goes down to Satan, and he's like, dude, I'm sorry. But remember that deal we made? Yeah, they won't take me in heaven. And Satan's like, look, we made this deal. You got to uphold it. And gave him a single coal to light his way as he spent the rest of his undead, like, eternity walking earth because he couldn't get into heaven or hell. And he put that coal inside of a turnip that he carved to light his way as he wandered the earth alone. Because with that kind of deal, even once the earth ends and there's no heaven or hell, those people just still stay in like limbo. So that's what made it creepy. And then turnips and beets and carved potatoes eventually became pumpkins. So that's where we get that from. And I love that it started with a drunk guy drinking with Satan.
Yes, I love it.
That
That's a
is
good
neat.
story.
It's my favorite. It's definitely my favorite.
And so the Irish just started just adding that to it. There's the pumpkins.
Yeah, I mean, that was just like a typical story that they told, and they all carved turnips back in the day, and then eventually it became pumpkins. I mean, excess.
What year was this story created?
I don't think it actually had like a date when this started. I'm assuming it with all of the folklore.
Was it like, I guess, around Halloween, I would assume?
Yeah, I mean, it was a story that they told during Halloween times.
Okay.
So it was just a traditional Irish Halloween story. I'm sorry, Samhain story.
Samhain.
Samhain. It's pronounced Samhain. I don't know why it's spelled Samhain. I've heard it both ways, so I looked it up. It's supposed to be Samhain.
Samhain.
Yep. The Celtic holiday of beginning of the dark half of the year,
Yes.
end of harvest. Yep, it's pretty neat.
And then
stuff.
everybody thinks that it's not like a Christian thing, but actually Christians popularized.
Oh yeah,
Halloween.
That's like all holidays though. Like Christmas used to be a pagan holiday, and then
We were talking about Easter was
Easter,
like the
yep.
spring festival and everything.
Pagans rule.
But yeah, so the Christians actually stretched this out for 3 days. It was October 31st, November 1st, and November 2nd, where they would honor saints and martyrs, those that had passed. So they would get together for those 3 days and honor those that had given themselves essentially for God, to God and up for God.
How did the Christians get the pagans to change their interpretation of it to saints and martyrs?
Advertising.
Yeah, I guess
Spanish Inquisition. I mean, you know how the people were. I mean,
Propaganda.
Back then. Well, propaganda. Oh, you don't believe us? All right, we'll burn you. You're a witch. I mean, stuff like that. Probably.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it got dog eat dog back in those days. But I mean,
Believe what I believe.
it's a melding, and that's what I like about like American traditions, because they're like, we like your shit, we like your shit. We're not gonna leave anybody's shit out. We're gonna fucking take a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and we're not gonna criticize anybody.
Well, that used to be how America is.
Yeah, it used to be.
Oh, it's funny you bring that up because that's a topic in my immigration class I'm in now. So about how there's no true American, like we all just did our own thing. No matter what, everybody says we've been like a melting pot. If you think about it, how's Chinatown a melting pot? I mean, that's where the Chinese were. I know us, and we don't care. I mean, we look at the other ethnicities, and we talk about, we love Chinese food, or like you said, the pagans and all that kind of neat
But
stuff.
here's the thing, though. I mean,
a lot of people don't. I
you
mean, they're
can't
very
stop. I mean, I don't know why. I get why people want to come to America, but some people just want to be here without having to be American, and those people huddle together in their towns and their specialized things. But here's the thing: they still have to make money, so they bring Americans in, and there's nothing more American than capitalism.
That's true. God bless the dollar
So
bill.
I will go to Fuji Steakhouse, and I will find a good Chinese buffet one of these days.
one doesn't have worms. So disappointed by that.
Once I see these restaurants with nasty things on Facebook, I'm like, I'm done there. I can never eat there again. But yeah, I mean, to each their own. That's kind of America's thing. And also stealing shit from other people, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with all of our Halloween traditions now. The trick-or-treating as well as the pumpkin carving and all that. I mean, I love it as long as we
I
get
think
to
that's
keep
where you
doing it.
see the idea of a melting pot. I think that's how
Yeah.
people can conceive that, because you're taking. I mean, Christmas is the same way, Thanksgiving is the same way. Everybody takes their own, traditions and everything, and combines it together. And for us, at our age and our generation and the generation before us and probably the generation after us, to us, that's just one single thing. It's one event. But hundreds of years ago, it was this family on this side of town did this, and this family did over here. And so I'm like, hey, why is that Irish family always carving pumpkins and has a fire lit? And that's really cool looking. And then just... it's neat.
And then
that's
all
happened.
the superstition behind it, which you get to take and leave depending on whether or not you're superstitious. Like, okay, for me, and this is a lot because of the movie Trick or Treat, and because, it was just what was kind of a superstition taught in my house. Having the pumpkin lit on Halloween night. Mm-hmm. You have to have it lit, and you have to leave it
I haven't heard
lit.
this one. Why is that?
So the whole thing about the jack-o'-lantern, there's lots and lots of superstitions about the Irish history of the jack-o'-lantern and things like that. But one of the main things was that the jack-o'-lanterns were supposed to ward off evil.
Oh,
it was
really?
supposed to be an evil face to turn away evil from your home.
Nice.
So in order to do that, you had to light that pumpkin on Halloween night when the dead would rise and walk among the living. So if you blew out the candle, that was inviting them in. So I don't even chance it with the candles. I crack a shitload of glow sticks and put them in my pumpkins on Halloween night. They're not going out till the next day. So that's like one of those superstitions. And mentally, I know. I would have a black cat. I don't mind bats. I love birds and owls and shit. I love them. All this superstitious stuff. There's one superstition about going out on Halloween night after midnight, not in a costume or whatever. It's inviting a witch into your life or what. I don't believe in any of those. But lighting the jack-o'-lantern on Halloween night.
You're going to make sure to do that.
It gets me. It gets to me. So, and that was just something that I had been taught since I was little. And then when I saw what happens when you blow out that candle in your jack-o'-lantern Halloween night on the movie Trick or Treat, I'm like, we're not having that shit. I'm leaving mine lit all night. So, but yeah, that's just one of you get to pick and choose your superstitions. What actually scares you? What can't you allow to happen? I don't believe in the opening the umbrella inside the house. But
Obviously not.
But I still think about it every time I do it. I won't. I think about walking under a ladder. I will, but it comes to mind.
The reason I don't want to walk under a ladder is because I've seen when the ladder slips and the ladder falls, and I don't want to be under the ladder when that happens because it looks like it'll hurt.
Right. I mean, plus the guy on the ladder.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get to pick and choose. That's the greatest thing about America. So, I mean, do you guys like really, really think about, are you superstitious at all?
Not really.
I want to say I'm superstitious. I mean, it's always in the back of your mind, like Friday the 13th. Always kind of in the back of your mind when that happens.
I was born on Friday the 13th, so that I'm fucked there.
But there's also, good superstitions, too. I remember, I can't remember where I learned it from. It was TV, probably. But on the first day of every month, if you say, rabbit, rabbit, being the first words out of your mouth, you'll have good luck all month.
I've never fucking heard that.
Yeah, I want to say I heard it
How
from
have we been
Nickelodeon.
together this long?
I'm going to start using that.
But I try it, but it never works. Because I always get first thing I do on the first one, I go, I gotta go to work.
Right.
Damn it, rabbit, rabbit. Damn it, that's going to be a good month.
Is that your first thought or the first thing that comes out of your mouth?
Supposed to be the first thing that comes out of your mouth, rabbit, rabbit.
All right, well, we're going to start trying this.
Yeah, but like I said,
November
usually when I
1st.
get up, I'm getting ready for work, and it's like, I gotta go to work.
Look, I'll set an alarm.
I
All
need to go
right,
to
for the
good
first
run.
of every month, I'll set an alarm 15 minutes before you get up for work, and we'll both wake up together and say rabbit, rabbit. If that's an awesome month, it's sealing the deal.
Rabbit, rabbit.
I mean, I think some superstitions are fun.
Yeah, and like I said, that one's supposed to be a good thing,
Yeah.
Eating cabbage at first of the year because it's supposed to bring money or something. I think that's just an Irish thing.
My mom always did sauerkraut on the first of the year.
Yeah, that's what we would do.
Yeah.
Sauerkraut cabbage, yep.
Oh, I guess it's kind of the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yep,
Yeah.
All right.
just
We-
fermented.
We would make
Here's some alcoholic cabbage!
we would make Polska kielbasa, mashed potatoes, and sauerkraut.
Yeah,
on the
that's what-
first of the year.
I hate that shit too. So
See,
love
look,
it.
I don't.
Really?
I'm not a fan of mashed potatoes, but if you give me a nice mitt on a bun covered in chili and sauerkraut, I'm in fucking heaven. So that I can handle.
I want to go to Hoffer House now and get some sauerkraut.
I do like
Sauerkraut.
their sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut balls, potato pancakes. I'm so hungry now.
So now that we're all fucking hungry, so we can get this out of the way because I'm starving. Favorite Halloween candy?
Mine has got to be. I loved the little Snicker bars when I was a kid.
Fun size.
Yes, I fucking love getting those. Nowadays, it's the Reese cup. I love Reese
Yeah.
cups. I will smash those.
See, mine's always been... Now, I mean, look, when it comes to the difference between candy and chocolate, actual candy and chocolate, I go back and forth between what I like the most, but I will never turn down a Reese cup.
Oh, they're so good.
Ever. Ever. Bert?
I mean, I love the Snicker bars, the Reese cups, the little Butterfingers, the little Almond Joys. I love all those. But I have to say, those are night one. Because when you go trick-or-treating, you get a bunch of candy.
You eat the chocolate first.
You eat all those good ones first.
Yeah.
And then you go into the Tootsie Rolls. It's chocolate, but it's not quite as good as the other
See,
chocolate.
Tootsie
that.
Rolls are the last thing I hit.
But
Yeah.
I mean, that's my next hit. And then after that, there's those gross orange and black wrapped candies
Which are delicious. Look, I give away
and all
my
that
candy
other
corn.
crap. then somebody was like, "Oh, look, here's some veggie chips." Like, I can go to you. I ain't eating that. And then you got the people do like they don't give out the candy, but they give out like the little spider rings and all that.
60 spider rings in your bag.
Just throw that to the side. I went to one house, I remember, and I got like money, and that was like my best one. Like, I got $1 and change. This is awesome. I can buy whatever I want with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely the regular candy bars, your Butterfingers, your Reese Cups, your Snickers, your Milky Ways, Three Musketeers, and I got to be in the mood. Sometimes it's the best candy in the world.
It's just one of those things when you're smashing your face full of chocolate. Them Three Musketeers just do it for you on Halloween.
Oh yeah, sometimes they do. And then, like I said, night 2, you're like, all right, already all the good candy. So here comes the Tootsie Pops and the Dum Dums and the Tootsie Rolls.
I hate Tootsie Pops.
I go good chocolate, and then I go to like Milk Duds and what are those JoJo's or Juju ones? Those little fruit
dots.
I'll eat the dots and the Mary Janes and all those at the end of the Halloween candy bag. After a couple of days, all that'll be is like those candy eyeballs, the fruit gummy O's.
Oh, yeah. Yep,
the suckers and the Tootsie Rolls. And then I do the suckers and then I or the Tootsie Rolls, and then I throw everything else away.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we had a coffee can. We'd put all the candy in. And like around Christmas time, we'd be like, "Oh yeah, there's the candy. Is there anything left in here?" And we scrounge out hey, we missed a Tootsie Roll. What? How's there still a Snickers bar in here? I'm not anybody else. And then the coffee can got dumped into the trash because a lot of candy's just gross, like those orange and black wrapped ones.
Those are delicious.
Afraid not.
So what, Brad? What was your favorite thing about trick or treating when you were a kid?
Just walking around, seeing all the costumes, the monsters, hanging out with friends. Yeah.
There was one dude in the neighborhood I grew up in. He was actually my bus driver for a couple of years. Dude gave out full-size candy bars. And
we had a few of those.
He knew as soon as he saw me I wanted a Baby Ruth, man. The only other candy bar in my life that's come into competition with Reese Cups has been the Baby Ruth.
There's a good chocolate bar.
And he used to, full-size candy. And then the bar in our neighborhood would give out cups of hot chocolate. And that was probably my favorite because by the time I got all the way up the street to this bar, I was freezing my ass off. And there'd always be somebody out there dressed up in a really awesome costume while everybody's partying inside. You know, when you see all the adults and shit partying inside. And there's always somebody standing outside giving out candy and hot chocolate to the kids. I thought that was really sweet. The hot chocolate, besides gorging myself on chocolate, the hot chocolate was probably my favorite part of trick-or-treating. That and like my whole family went. Like we would roll out like 16 to 25 strong. Me, my sister, my brother, my 4 cousins, all, and the only one person would stay behind to give out candy. So all the aunts, the uncles, the moms, the dads, everybody was like always a bunch of us like hardcore crew going out trick-or-treating. And it was a lot of fun.
The only crew I went with was either my dad or mom, depending on which year it was, and my siblings. We never had like a crew to go out with.
Yeah, my family used to be like a hardcore crew, and now like everybody hates each other.
Yeah, that's what families are for.
I guess so. And a lot of us live pretty far apart. Like we're not gonna be able to trick or treat this year with my sister because it's on a Wednesday. And my kids have school the next day, and like I can't afford to have a 45-minute drive under my belt after the kids are done trick-or-treating. So we're rolling out 4 strong this year.
Yeah, the rich neighborhood up the road is supposed to be giving out full-size candy bars.
And my 16-year-old is going with us. So suck it.
Is he trick-or-treating?
Yeah, he's going as a 12-year-old.
No, he probably, what'll happen is he thinks, like, little kids are cute. He loves his little brother. So he'll probably go to the door with he wants fucking candy, too. I want free fucking candy.
Hey, man.
That's why you have kids,
he's
so trick-or-treat.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah,
he's only 16.
Whatever. And then we come home and I bitch at him about checking their bags for fucking needles and heroin.
I just want to say, why would anybody waste their drugs on...
All right, so that is like an urban legend.
It's a fucking sad urban legend.
So it was a kid, I believe in Texas.
I can't remember.
They were trick-or-treating. They came home. They started eating their candy, and the kid got sick. And so this big thing came from, he must have ate something in the candy. And it was just terrible. The whole family, the neighborhood was all terrible and everything else. Turns out, it wasn't any of the candy. The dad had poisoned his son.
He had taken out a
dad.
$20,000 life insurance on his kids.
What a piece of
and
shit.
he poisoned his son and had planned on poisoning his daughter. So he poisoned his own kids' Halloween
for
candy.
$20,000.
Well, it would have been 40 for the both of them.
Wow.
And that's where that comes from, because the dad poisoned his own fucking kids. That's where the urban legend started.
Yeah, I think we saw this on like a Netflix special originally.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was
I'm
a really
looking it
good,
up.
because they talk about all like these little urban legends across
It
America.
was in
so-
1974.
Wow.
And the little boy's name was Timothy O'Brien. He died of cyanide poisoning after eating Halloween candy that his dad had poisoned his candy with. So,
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's awful.
so it's an urban legend, yes, but now, like, I think one of the reasons why the story isn't more well known, I'm not gonna lie, you should probably just check your candy. Shit falls open, even if it's nobody's fault. Shit falls open, it gets stale or whatever. I mean, people do sketchy shit at playgrounds.
Yeah.
Heroin is fucking huge in most smaller towns now. You should just check your candy.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know how you would cyanide poison somebody. Is it like injecting it into the candy
Yeah,
bar?
I've
So I guess
injected
some
it into candy
psycho
bars.
fuck might do that.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, and like, I don't know, cults, devil worshippers, fucking, I mean,
Hail
some
Satan.
people are fucked. Some people, like some, like animal shelters still won't adopt out black cats around this time of year because people will fucking
Use them for
sacrifice them.
sacrifices,
Yeah.
yep.
That's fucked up.
But to your point about why would people like use their drugs like that, you know, poisoning kids or whatever, I mean, we're in an area now where the heroin epidemic is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, when we go to a local playground, I have to kick through the mulch and do a quick survey to make sure there's no used
Needles.
syringes or something there before I let our kids play. Can you just imagine some junkie giving out candy and just throws us? I mean, there's a Walmart not far from here. I think it was over in Indiana somewhere where people were going to plant the plants they bought from Walmart, and somebody had stuck used syringes into the potting soil of the plant. And this lady almost got stabbed by it. And I mean, it's just like, if they're willing to do that, then who knows if they're going to throw it in my kid's bag or something.
I mean, it's so popular. Functioning drug addicts are a huge part of our lives. They're going to pass out Halloween candy. They're going to take their own kids to the park. You should just check your shit.
Yeah, I mean, I know junkies. I could see them accidentally dropping a needle if they're passed out, but they're probably not even going to be passing out candy. They're probably going to be looking to score junk.
I mean,
But it's better safe than sorry. It only
Yeah,
takes a few
yeah.
seconds to
Yeah,
check
I mean,
the kids'
there
candy.
may be some, but I don't know. I mean, like Stephanie said, there are functional drug users, addicts
Well,
out
and
there. I
then,
mean, you don't know.
sometimes the wrapper comes open on the... I mean, this is the same thing with getting your kids to wash their hands. Some people don't wash their hands after they use the bathroom, and then they're handing out candy with their... And fucking, this is the beginning of flu season.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
If the candy is come open...
I would throw it out.
Throw it
Absolutely,
out.
yeah.
Absolutely. That's why I only like the
Yeah.
sealed packages, like the Snicker bars. The little mini Reese cups are kind of scary because
Yeah.
the foil can be undone.
Yeah, but that foil...
The orange and black candy, you know, the wrapper comes
That
right
should be-
off, so that should be...
That should be thrown out immediately.
No,
just
Without
assume
question.
it's bad. It's just twist wrapped,
give
okay?
it to me. I'll eat
Just
it.
assume since it's twist
But all
wrapped,
that
somebody
candy-
did something to
All
it.
that candy corn bullshit's got to go. But
Let's make a pledge here. If we can get you folks out there to get rid of the orange and black wrap,
No, I like it.
We want pictures of you throwing it in the garbage.
No.
we'll give you stickers.
Yes.
When we have them made, we're debating on a design for potty mouth stickers. But anyway, back to Halloween and not knocking one of my favorite Halloween candies. Have you ever played a trick on anybody? We all love the treats, but have you ever played a trick on anybody?
Closest trick we ever did, we were trick-or-treating with my dad and his best friend Jim. I was 9 or 10. I don't remember when I went as that year, but I remember my dad and Jim went as zombie construction workers. They were wearing their hard hats. They got some of the fake latex and put it on their skin and everything else. And Dad grabbed 4 bars of soap. And I had no clue what the soap was for.
Window soaping was actually a popular Devil's Night tradition back in the day, but continue.
Had no clue what he was going to do with it. I'm like, are we going to, like, is there going to be a kid out there with dirty hands? Or we have them wash their hands? I had no clue. So here we are going, walking the neighborhood. And this is in Phoenix, Arizona now. So it had been the early to mid-90s. So we're walking around. We're going to all the places that have their lights on, knocking on the door, trick or treat, blah, blah, blah. We just won. The light is on. We knock. Nobody. Knock again. Nobody. My dad's like, well, time to teach this gentleman a lesson. Pulls out the soap, and on his big old giant window says, please have candy next year. Thanks.
So they used to just cover it in soapy film so they couldn't see it. It was supposed to be like a haunting thing.
Yeah, well, Daddy used it to the right messages. It wasn't anything bad or anything because he had the kids with him. If we weren't with him, who knows what Dad would have wrote. But, yeah, that was the only one I actually remember him doing it to. So he pretty much over-prepared to use the soap.
So it wouldn't, like, show up until you, like, sprayed it down, right?
Well, this was like it wasn't like the nice clean white soap. We used Irish Spring because it was cheap because we were poor. So, and you can see it. It's almost like, I don't know, almost kind of like a chalky look on the window. But you really had to press down to get the look in there. And you could see it as a smear. But I can also imagine how hard it was to wash off that window.
Yeah, because it just soaps up and soaps up and soaps up and soaps. It's supposed to look spooky back in the day. You know, now we know better. But now it's just supposed to be, like, we're not damaging property, but it's going to be a bitch to get out. Like TPing a house.
Yeah.
Especially if that TP gets wet.
Egging houses.
Yeah, and a lot of the local neighborhoods now, when trick-or-treating's going on, you know, you got the cops driving around, the fire department's going on. The trick-or-treat hours are from 4 to 6, so it's before it gets dark. I know they're in Augusta, Kentucky. I mean, it's just everybody, all the volunteer firefighters are driving around, everything else. Making sure nobody's TPing anything. But of course, who's going to do that when the cops are driving around? The kids are going to wait until after trick-or-treat's done. Then they're going to go play their pranks.
PM. We love to go out the day after Halloween and see who all got TP'd.
But yeah, the hours are like early, so it's not too late. Now, a creepy thing, another thing that happens in the trick-or-treat in this area is in Felicity, Ohio, when the siren goes off.
Yeah, they blow the tornado siren.
It goes brr, brr, and all I can think is the Purge.
No,
yeah,
really?
they blow the siren.
They do it on
6
Halloween
PM
night.
at the beginning, and then again at 8 p.m. at the end. They used to do that in the neighborhood I grew up in, California, Ohio, right on the river. They used to do that too, but bringing it into Halloween shows, Disney had it fucking timed perfect in our area. They would start the Disney's Halloween treat as soon as we went out trick-or-treating, and then when we came home, it would still be on. And that was my favorite thing to watch. That was like my drug before we would go out. Like, I wanted to be the first one dressed in my costume so I could sit and wait and watch Disney's Halloween treat on TV before we went out.
The dancing skeletons.
The dancing skeletons and all that other stuff. I will post all this stuff because I need everybody to remember this, because it was like one of my absolute favorite fucking things about Halloween was Disney's Halloween treat. It was great.
Those dancing skeletons were cool.
Yeah, that's what they would play at the close of it. But what was your guys' favorite shows and stuff? When you were kids, we already did a whole thing about horror movies. I'm talking about the kid in you. What did the kid in you watch during this time of year?
Treehouse of Horror, The Simpsons.
Yeah, absolutely.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, I love the Treehouse of Horror. There's that. We always had to watch The Great Pumpkin with Charlie Brown, just because, you know, I mean...
Yeah, my dad made us watch that. It was good. But...
Yeah, I mean, you had that, Elvira.
Oh,
they would always play all the Elvira stuff. I always thought that was cool.
I just watched Elvira's movie yesterday.
I fucking love that movie. Where did you see that at? I've been trying to buy that. I cannot find it anywhere.
It's on our Hulu.
Is it really?
I watched it on Hulu.
I'm going to have to get Hulu for a month.
But yeah, I forgot how funny that movie was.
She's
and like,
great.
Everybody's like always talking. Okay, first of all, as an adult, my fucking Halloween drug is Halloween Wars and the Halloween Baking Championship. She was a guest judge on an episode on, it was a couple years back on Halloween Wars. Mm-hmm. She looks exactly today as she fucking did back
15,
then.
20 years later, that woman don't look a bit different.
Oh, yeah.
I need to know who her plastic surgeon is.
So, I can't remember. It might have been HBO, but I remember one year Elvira had a special with Gallagher.
Oh, yeah.
And that was for Halloween. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And then they played it a couple of times, a couple of years later, the same thing. It was like a repeat thing. I remember that, though, and I really looked forward to that, too, because I was a big fan of Gallagher. Because one of the comedians my parents watched, it actually let me watch as a kid.
See, my parents let us fucking go rogue on what we watched, but those that don't know, Gallagher is the comedian that used to smash food and watermelons with his giant hammer.
Sledge-o-matic.
Sledge-o-matic. Brad, what was your, besides Simpsons, what other shows did you religiously watch?
As a kid, I can't really recall. I mean, my parents were pretty strict about the horror movies and shit until I was, 7th grade, but
Damn parents.
I get why. I'm pretty lenient with the kids on what way they watch.
Your son's almost 17 years old and you won't let him see boobs. We're watching like, Dale, cover your eyes!
It's weird.
Cover your eyes!
It's weird to be in the same room with your kid and there's a sex scene.
When I'm watching the shit with my nephews, I get kind of weirded out. I'm like, oh, this is very uncomfortable.
Right? I know that he's
But it's
watching...
not a porn, it's like a glance. Hey, there might be a tit.
But even if it was, he can watch that shit on his own. I'm not going to be in the same room as my kid during a sex scene, okay? It's not because I don't want him
But
to
it might
see
not be a sex scene. This girl could honestly just be getting a simple, sweet, innocent shower, and friggin' Freddy's going to cut her up!
I don't like
there was
to
no
see,
sex scene.
I don't like to see boobs with my kid in the same room, okay? Of all the weird shit I do, that seems pretty fucking normal to me. But anyway, my kids, they watch, like my youngest, he watches the Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. I want them to know what's fake is fake. Mm. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
Because my mom, she let me loose at like age 6 with Bram Stoker's Dracula. I was 5 or 6 when I saw Aliens for the first time. And it's my #1 favorite movie of all times. These kids need to know what's fake, so not everything scares them.
I get it.
But, also, if it's your choice not to let your kids watch it, then that's your choice. That's not how it was in my house.
Yeah, I get it.
But,
Another good show, and it wasn't necessarily always Halloween related, but I always looked forward to it Halloween, because I thought they did like marathons maybe, was Tales from the Crypt.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I always thought HBO played it more often during the Halloween season.
During October. The whole month is just fabulous.
And then as I grew up, late teens, early adulthood, AMC always does their Fear Fest thing for October. So you catch all your good horror movies, too. So I always look forward to that. Because you're like looking through the TV guide.
Mm-hmm.
When's it coming on? When's it coming on?
Well,
I want to watch this one.
Forgot all about that.
Well,
yeah.
and then there's like the 31 Nights of Halloween on ABC Family where they play Hocus Pocus 150 times.
And then all those other movies they say are Halloween movies, and they might as well just be Christmas movies.
The Sci-Fi Channel has theirs now where they do 31 nights of fucking
31
sci-fi horror shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's great. But I mentioned this to Brad earlier. Bert, do you remember the 1979 Halloween movie called The Halloween That Almost Wasn't?
Sounds familiar, but
man.
really familiar, but I can't
the
recall
whole
any
thing
details.
is it's all the classic monsters. Dracula, Igor, the Wolfman, the Mummy, all these guys. Halloween's coming to an end. And they don't know why, and they find out it's because the witch doesn't feel loved anymore. So she's going to stop riding on her broom across the moon at midnight when Halloween starts. So they have to convince her to do her midnight ride so Halloween can continue. But anyway, it was a fucking cute-ass fucking movie. And I swear my family's the only one that watches shit at Halloween. Same thing with the Disney's Halloween Treat. Most people don't remember this, but then, watch. I'll post it, you guys. And everybody will be like, I remember that. So if you've seen Disney's Halloween Treat, if you have seen the Halloween that almost wasn't, let us know, because I don't want to feel so alone.
It was on ABC. First premiered in 1979 or 78?
79.
79.
But yeah, and
a little 30-minute short guy, yeah. Judd Hirsch was in it. So.
He's Dracula.
Okay.
And then
you know who that is? That's the dad from Independence Day. Jeff Goldblum's dad in the movie. Only thing I know him from.
I think it was it the Wolfman? Is the guy that was the creepy doctor that lived next door to Tom Hanks in The Burbs. He's in it too.
John Schuck.
Yeah, which by the way, The Burbs, y'all.
I love it.
It's a great movie. It's a great fucking movie. The dancing skeletons and all that stuff and all the Disney, it just did it for me back in the day. And that talking pumpkin. Brad and I were talking about Halloween commercials.
Oh, I love
What was your favorite one?
I loved the Pepsi and Doritos with Dracula, Frankenstein, just all the classic monsters. I don't ever see those anymore.
It's another thing too, is the cereals.
Yeah.
The Boo Berries
and
Chocula.
Count Chocula.
Oh, yeah.
That's another Halloween favorite, yeah.
Well, and then we were talking about, one of the only people that still does a good Halloween commercial is Reese's. Mm-hmm. That one where the vampire bites it and you see the two little holes and it sucks out the peanut butter. Man, I love holiday commercials so much.
I do too.
I wish they would do more.
I want to say there was a Budweiser frog Halloween commercial once.
Probably.
I can't remember what it was, though. It was something dumb. Like, they were all just costumed up and doing the whole Budweiser thing. But
I do have a Coors Light cutout at my house with Elvira and a monster.
I remember seeing that at the store when I was a kid.
It's awesome.
Elvira strikes again.
Yeah. But I just thought of a show. You guys remember Are You Afraid of the Dark? On
Oh, yeah.
Nickelodeon, yeah.
See, I used to watch, and this was like my teenage spooky years. It was Are You Afraid of the Dark, the Goosebumps movies, and then Erie, Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys remember Erie, Indiana?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those were like, because every year there's something spooky appropriate for every, not just little kids and adults, but the teens. And when I was in my teens, it was Tales from the Crypt, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Erie, Indiana, and the Goosebumps movies.
Yeah. I always loved the scary shit, the monsters. Loved
yeah.
it. Oh, my God.
Creature features probably are the ones that I appreciate the most this time of year.
Yeah.
I like them all, if they're good,
Yeah.
well done. There's some really bad ones, too.
Even-
We've already talked about that, but there's some bad ones, too.
Even some that are bad are still good, though. But that's coming from me. So, take that with a grain of salt, considering some of the movies I've sat through. Another one that I wanted to mention real quick, it was The Adventures of Mr. Toad and Ichabod Crane.
Oh, I remember
The Headless
that.
Horseman
Yeah.
cartoon. That was probably one of my absolute favorite little movies to watch ever. And I just rented it and watched it again. And I totally forgot the narrator and the one that does all the singing. It's fucking Bing Crosby. Bing Crosby owns Christmas and fucking Halloween for me now. I love Bing Crosby. But he did the voices, he narrated it, and he sang the songs
That's
in
neat.
Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman.
That's neat.
So that was nice to remember that.
So I don't know how recent this development was in Halloween, but was there trunk or treats when you guys were kids?
No, trunk or treats are new.
That's a newer thing. That's what I thought, because I never remember ever hearing about it until like within the last 5 or 6 years, the trunk or treat, which I think is great. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great idea. All the kids can be in a safe parking lot at the churches or everything. But I saw an advertisement for there's a trunk or treat locally, but you only can come if you dress as a biblical character.
Look,
And I'm like, you know
churches
what?
are allowed to put their hand in it.
I
if they
get
want
it,
to.
but I don't know.
So, from what I remember, and this is pretty fucking sad, trunk or treats are great. We've been to a couple. And they're supposed to be, like, business-based. Like, churches get in on it. And if they want to put a little religious flair in it, that's their business.
Goes Linda Blair from The Exorcist. There's a little religion for you.
I mean, touche. But, I hate to say it, it's the pedophiles. They started the trunk or treats because even though,
Really?
your neighborhood was supposed to be safe and a sense of community, well, all these parents, once that fucking app came out where you could find out where the pedophiles were living, that's when the trunk or treats started. They took the trick or treating out of the neighborhoods and put them in a safe parking lot where people weren't walking up to strangers' houses.
The pins.
The red dots.
Yeah.
They weren't walking up to strangers'
Man.
houses. It took away from even the innocent stuff like houses being egged and TP'd and stuff, and they put it into a controlled
Yeah, that totally makes
environment.
sense. It totally makes sense. Because the few we've went to, they've been really good. I mean, the one was by church. We went to
And I
another
mean,
one that the fire department did, and I thought that was really
Yeah,
cool.
and they dress up their cars and stuff and give away prizes and stuff for the best dressed car and whatever. I mean,
decorated
it's
car, yeah.
cute, but it started in an eerie fashion with that app to let you know where the pedophiles
Well, you
were.
think about it, all the traditions we just talked about earlier.
Or kind of eerie.
Are kind of eerie,
It's the death
so-
of everything. But also, too, finding joy in that.
Joy and death.
I mean, they didn't stop trick-or-treating because of pedophiles. They just
They
moved
modified it. Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it. I want to protect my kids. And we're still going to go house to house doing trick-or-treating. But, I've got the app.
Yeah, but I appreciate the trunk or treat thing because I think it's really cool. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a controlled area. I think it's a great idea. A church saying only biblical characters. You're right. It's their thing. They can do what they
Yeah,
want.
you just
but,
don't go to that trunk-or-treat. They're fucking everywhere.
I mean, you just can't go as Ghostface or... I guess you can go as Lucifer. You can go as Satan. It's biblical character!
Biblical
Yeah,
character. Sodom and Gomorrah.
All right, now we're getting back to the whole gender thing. Let's not do that.
Well, no, I'm to each their own.
All right, what else you got?
I think that's about it.
Wow.
Halloween candy. Is anybody else dressing up this year? Besides me going as a fox.
I'm probably not.
I'm going to be a babysitter this year.
I'm sorry. Someday we'll get to go out for Halloween. Hey, we got to get drunk. We got to go out. Well, I got drunk. We got to go out together for 80s night.
Yeah, I know, and you fussed at me for drinking.
Okay, so I order a bucket of beer.
Drunks.
I order a bucket of beer. He's my DD. He drinks 4 of them before I have 2.
Well, I guess you should have switched roles.
No, because I wanted to drink.
It was low carb. It was okay. Low carb. It was okay. So
I gotta say, one of the kid things, because I always like to say, the weird shit that creeps me out that shouldn't creep me out. In all the kid shows and the Disney's Halloween Treat and stuff, the big long hour-and-a-half videos, like clips from like different episodes, like with Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and all this stuff, and then they would do clips of Disney movies. So because it's supposed to be Halloween, it would be like the fight scene with the dragon in Sleeping Beauty and the evil witch from Snow White and stuff like this. But one of them, they would play the Heffalump song from Winnie the Pooh. The Heffalump song from Winnie the Pooh creeped me the fuck out when I was little. Didn't like it. What didn't you get creeped out by any weird things when you were little?
I still hate dolls. We talked about it in an earlier episode. I hate dolls. So if there was a kid dressed up as a doll, I probably stayed away from him. There was a kid dressed up like Chucky one year, and I made sure I was not in that group of kids.
It was a good Chucky, too. It was a good Chucky costume, too.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Brad?
Dolls are bad.
Just the thought of potential ghost, Ghosts fucking scare me.
Always creepy stuff. Speaking of ghosts, just one last plug before we're done with this Halloween episode. If you're looking for something total creep shit to watch, we're going to be posting this a couple of days before Halloween. Get into The Haunting of Hill House. It will give you goosebumps.
Netflix, yep.
Netflix.
Good stuff.
It is fucking great.
I have decided not to watch this because
Brad
I don't
will
think my heart
have
can handle it.
a fucking heart attack. Actually, the 3rd episode we watched, I text Brad and I'm like, dude, I don't think you can handle this.
I almost got Netflix last night to start. I've heard nothing but good things about it.
So well done.
It's
Well
so
written. The
well
acting's good. The storyline's there. Steph loves it because the backstory. Like every episode's a backstory moment, and it's like it brings it all together. And the way they end it, there's not going to be a second season. If they do, I don't know how they would do that. But
I'm
it's
hoping
so
they
well
kind of do
put.
like a thing like
American
like
Horror Story.
or Slasher, the show on Netflix called Slasher. It was
Each season was a different.
each
is an
season was a
anthology.
different scenario. Yeah. So, but I mean, I don't know if like next season they're going to cover Amityville horror shit or another haunted house because they did the Haunting of Hill House in
Is this
one.
like supposed to be a real house?
No, this is based off a book written in the 50s that The Haunting and those movies were based off of.
Okay.
Do you remember The Haunting with Liam Neeson and Catherine Zeta-Jones
Yeah.
and Luke Wilson? It's based off of that. But this, it's not.
But they took it a different way, and it's just really well done.
In
Just
one episode,
really well done. I didn't put 2 and 2 together until she's like, "Oh, this is just like the Haunting." I'm like, "You're right. The character names are the same, but the storyline is so different, but so well done."
It's a 10 out of 10 show because it's not just creepy, it's not just ghosts, it's not just jump scares. There's not even a whole lot of jump scares. It's just creep and emotion and frustration, and the acting is excellent, and like the scenery, it's just a 10 out of 10 show. On top of the fact that every episode you're going to get goosebumps like a motherfucker.
I guess I'll just have to sleep with the lights on for a couple weeks.
Yeah, just like you did when, how many days do you have to sleep with the lights on after watching the first Insidious?
It was a solid week at least.
I love that the paranormal's what does it for you, but I mean,
terrifies me.
But the show is good. The show
Yeah.
is absolutely great.
yeah, if you
Yeah,
want to
I'm
be
gonna have to
creeped
watch it.
out, if like it's coming to the end of the month and you're like, I haven't watched any spooky shit this year for October, The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix.
I mean, since Stranger Things has been delayed, it was nice to have something else to segue into, and that was
because we
really
love
well
Stranger
done.
Things
I do
too.
too.
I rank it right up there with me. I mean, I said on Netflix, it's like Stranger Things, and then right behind it
That's
is The
high
Haunting of Hill
praise.
House. That's very high praise for me.
I kind of like it better than the show.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
I'm going to have to watch
I
it.
kind of like it better. And I don't know, just because it's from an adult perspective instead of the kid's perspective. Maybe that's why I'm a little more of a fan of it. But it's just so well done. So
Yeah,
well done.
it's-
Great storyline. The acting's great. I can't say more good things about it. I mean, it's really well done.
It's a 10 out of 10, and I'm so glad that we decided, because sometimes we'll put these shows off thinking they're not going to be that good. I'm so glad we decided to start it before Halloween, because this is definitely an October
What, 4
show.
nights we had it wrapped up?
Yeah, 4 nights.
How many
And
episodes?
10 episodes.
And it's, well, they're long, too.
They're all between 52 to 60 minutes, except for the last one. It's
like an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah,
or
it's like
something
an hour
that.
and 15 minutes or something.
So it's not like a
yeah.
half-hour episode. There's 10 episodes, but they're all almost an hour to an hour. So, I mean, you got to dedicate some time to it, but we totally dedicated the time to it, and it was fucking worth it.
Yep.
There was a couple late nights and some early mornings, but it was definitely worth it.
Fucking
But,
name.
did anybody have anything else to say about Halloween?
Nope, I think we're good on that, unless Brad's got something.
Brad?
Have a good Halloween.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Be safe.
Check out the new Halloween movie. It's excellent.
Yeah, Brad got to go see that. What was
Nice.
it, opening night?
Yes, it was really good.
Did
I
you
loved
want to
it.
fill in your little story about your experience, or just comment on the movie?
Don't ever go see a horror movie on opening night. I have never had any luck with it because of the assholes that show up, all the kids. But what I got to watch, it was really good. It's the sequel we should have got 40 years ago. Yeah, go check it out if you can.
Cool.
We're gonna try and check it out at some point.
It's good.
At some point.
At some point. All right, do the socials.
Okay, so if you love Halloween, and if you want to talk to Halloween about Halloween with us, talk about your shows, I want to hear your traditions, your personal experiences. Have you ever been punked on Halloween? Have you ever punked anybody? I don't care, like, if it's great pranks. I want to hear your favorite your favorite candies. I want to hear about your Halloween. And to do
I want to
so-
hear if y'all hate the black and orange wrapped candies. Please, let's make a pledge.
those that
Can we get rid
also-
of it? Can we get rid of them?
And those that also love the black and orange peanut butter Halloween candies, let us know that they're not total shit, because they're awesome.
Disgusting.
But anyway, to do that, you can hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Mouths Potty. Because we got punked by Twitter.
Good job, dyslexica.
You can find this episode and all of our other episodes on Podbean and the Podbean app, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, and hopefully coming soon, Spotify. We have applied.
Cool.
So, look us up. Let us know. We like to thank Purple Planet for our music. And, let us know what you think about Halloween, because it's my favorite holiday. So the more we can talk about it till the beginning of November, the more I appreciate it. So, I'm Stephanie, and I'm saying goodbye.
This is Bert. See you guys.
I'm Brad. Hell Satan.